Welcome back to the Irish Bandit channel, or if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I, as always, am your host, the one, the only, the second Irish Bandit. And starting today for the next 5 weeks, we have something very special planned for you. I have something very special planned for you. It's just me. I do everything. I'm a jack of all trades, master of very little. But anyway, besides that point, for the next 5 weeks, I am going to be talking about my top 10 favorite movies of all time. We're not going to do this as a regular old countdown of 10, 9, 8, 7. No. I'm going to take every video for the next 5 weeks, airing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm going to talk about all 10 movies. They all get their own special video, and we're just going to kick it off right off the bat with number 10. I absolutely love, love, love this movie. I've said time and time again, as far as this movie goes, this is as near perfect as you can get, from sound design, scope, score, acting, and performances. Just everything in this movie is just beautiful, and I've often said that I am so in love with this movie, which is really funny to say because the lead actor in this movie is not one of my favorite actors ever, but in this movie, he gives an amazing performance. Coming in at number 10, I absolutely love this movie. Today, we are going to talk about The Last Samurai, starring Tom Cruise. And just for clarification's sake, yes, I do own all 10 of my top 10 favorite movies, so you will see the DVDs pop up in all these videos coming up over the next 5 weeks. So, let's get into The Last Samurai. The Last Samurai was released in 2003 and is directed by Edward Zwick, who also co-produced the movie. He also co-wrote the screenplay with John Logan and Marshall Hershkovitz, with a story devised by John Logan. The film stars Tom Cruise, who is also co-producer, Timothy Spall, Ken Watanabe, Billy Connolly, Tony Goldwyn, Hiroyuki Sanada, Kyoku, and Shin Kayamada in supporting roles. I probably butchered most of those names, but when you have a mostly Japanese cast and English speaker like myself, the film was released. Let me just see here. Oh, music by Hans Zimmer. Wonderful score. One of my favorites there is. It was released in December 5th of 2003. Had a budget of $140 million and made 456,000 million. I probably said that all wrong, but I've never been big I've never done good when it comes to, I've done good when it comes to like 100,000, anything like that. Just going off the Wikipedia article here. Tom Cruise portrays a United States captain of the 7th Cavalry Regiment whose personal and emotional conflicts bring him into contract with samurai warriors in the wake of the Meiji Restoration of the 19th century Japan. The plot was inspired by the 1877 Satsuma Rebellion, led by Saigo Takamori, and the westernization of Japan by foreign powers. See, a lot of people ask if The Last Samurai was based on a true story, and it is, but it isn't. It's a completely fictional story based around some actual events. So if you ever want to know, that's what The Last Samurai is. The westernization of Japan by foreign powers. Though in the film, the United States is portrayed as the primary force behind the push for westernization, it's also influenced by stories of Jules Bernat, a French army captain who fought alongside Enomoto Takeya in the earlier Boshin War, and to a lesser extent by Frederick Townsend Ward, an American mercenary who helped westernize the Chinese army by forming the ever-victorious army. The Last Samurai grossed a total of $456 million at the box office and was well received upon its release because it's a fantastic movie. But that's just me talking, and I can talk about it because this is my video talking about it. So, receiving praise primarily for its acting, particularly from Cruise and Watanabe. Yes, we'll get into that a little later. Writing, directing, score, visuals, costumes. All the costumes were beautiful. We'll get into that later. and messages, but criticized in Japan for a romanticized storybook portrayal of the samurai, which is true. I will say that much. Who are regarded being more corrupt, yes. It was nominated for several awards, including 4 Academy Awards, 3 Golden Globes, and 2 National Board of Review Awards. So I'm not going to get into the whole plot. I think I got basically into the plot there, but just a little bit more about the plot of the movie. We'll get into a little bit, not a whole lot, but it revolves around a Army Captain Nathan Algren, who is just disgusted with what he has done during the what war was not the Civil War. It was around the time of Custer and Custer's last stand, because they even talk about that in the movie. But he's just disgusted with what he has done to the Native American people, and just basically tries to forget it by drinking himself to death, pretty much. He takes a job at doing, oh, what is it again? He's doing amusements, selling a certain type of rifle when we meet him at the beginning of the movie. Funny enough, too, the guy who plays his boss in The Last Samurai at the very beginning of the movie is played by William Atherton, who is also in one of my all-time favorite movies. We're going to get into that in a couple of days. It's not going to be, just looking up here, it's not going to be the next one, but it'll be number 8. So we'll get to that when that movie comes around. I'm not going to say what it is, but I gave you The Last Samurai for free, but you're going to have to really, really watch to see what else is on the list. But like it said in the description, Algren enters into a contract with Omura, the right-hand man to Emperor Meiji. He goes to Japan, trains the Japanese conscripts, and then is subsequently taken by Katsumoto and his samurais for the winter, where he learns the samurai way of life, the way of Bushido. So he returns back to the emperor, and that's when he really starts settling all of his conflicts, and decides to side with Katsumoto at that point on. I'm not going to get into the rest of the movie. You got to watch it for yourself. I don't care if it came out in 2003. I'm not spoiling anything about this movie. So where do I start with The Last Samurai? Why do I love it? It is just a beautifully shot movie. Visually, it has some stunning, stunning visuals in this. And to make New Zealand look like Japan is just amazing. I thought they actually did shoot quite a bit of the movie in the countryside of Japan, but no, it was all shot in New Zealand. They used Japanese actors, but it still looked amazing. The visuals were just stunning. The set design as well for the interior shots was just spot on with what a Japanese home should look like during the 19th century. Just beautifully, beautifully done. The music by Hans Zimmer is just incredible. Again, Hans Zimmer is another name that's going to be popping up again in my top 10 list. So I think he makes at least 2 more appearances, maybe 3, with some of the movies that are in my list, but we'll talk about them another time. One of them being on Thursday, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, the Hans Zimmer score is fantastic. It just has this peaceful feeling to it. I use it most of the time to meditate. If I just need to calm down and relax, I put on the Last Samurai soundtrack and meditate, and I feel a whole lot better afterwards. The costume designing was spot on with everything, be it the 7th Infantry Cavalry, whatever, uniforms, be it the kimonos that they wear, the armor that the samurais wear, whatever it is all spot on and perfectly done. My ex-girlfriend, who got me hooked on this movie, even said they did so much right with the armor, because she worked in chainmail, and she even said they did so much right with all the chainmail, so it looked fantastic. So yes, the costuming was just beautiful. That leads me to the acting, and this is some of the best acting that I have seen on screen. Now, like I said before, I'm not a huge Tom Cruise fan. He has a couple movies that I like, but I can really take him or leave him. Like, I like Jerry Maguire. Didn't really get into Top Gun, honestly and truthfully. But this movie I absolutely love. It is the one of the few movies of his that I can watch over and over again and not get tired of it. The interaction between Algren and Katsumoto is just one. You see it. It starts out with contention because Algren is on the side of the Japanese army. He's taken in, pretty much at first taken into custody. Like, even he says he's a prisoner, but he has a certain amount of freedom. But you see the friendship built between him and Katsumoto during his time in Katsumoto's village. I guess it's Nobutata's village, Katsumoto's son. But when he is in with the samurai, he learns a new way of life, and he even finds peace for the first time. Now we're getting into the story, but just the interaction between Katsumoto and Algren, their first time. Well, the first time after Algren's been captured, is just an amazing one. They just develop this bond that keeps going. And I love at the midpoint of the movie when Minister Omura sends a bunch of ninjas to the village to try to assassinate Katsumoto. There's this moment afterwards where Katsumoto's looking at the cherry blossoms, and him and Algren have a talk about what Bushido is. And just that interaction, I play that back all the time. Life in every cup of tea, in every life we take, life in every breath. Life in every breath. That is Bushido. Just everything that Katsumoto says just resonates with me. There's this one part near the end of the movie where I'm sorry if I start to get emotional talking about this movie, because it just has that kind of effect on me. There's this point near, not at the end, but right close to the end of the movie, where Algren and Katsumoto have fled Tokyo, heading back to the village. They're by the fire talking, and Katsumoto he has this realization, and he tells Algren, the way of the samurai it's not necessary anymore. And Algren looks at him and goes, necessary? What could be more necessary? And then Katsumoto says something that just has resounded with me ever since I watched it. And I've even decided that Rider Pride has a tattoo of the seven virtues of Bushido, I think either on his forearm or on his back. I don't remember. I would love to get that. But when Katsumoto said the following, I knew I had to get that. And I've actually done it out in Japanese kanji. But he says, I will die by the sword, my own or my enemies. And then Algren just has a great response, let it be your enemies. That moment between the two of them, I gotta go. Pardon me, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go watch the movie. So let's talk about one of the big criticisms I have with this movie is that, yes, I do believe they've romanticized the way of the samurai themselves a little too much. Because while the Code of Bushido is something honorable, there was rampant corruption within the samurai during that period of time. So that's one of the big things that I have against this movie, but it's not enough for me to hate this movie. It's just beautifully told, beautifully shot, beautifully acted by everyone involved. We didn't even get to any of the other characters in this. Like we just talked about Algren and Katsumoto. You have Simon Graham, played by Timothy Spall. I know him as Peter Pettigrew from the Harry Potter movies, but when I saw him, I had a mild freak out. It's like, Peter Pettigrew. But Simon Graham, the character of Simon Graham, was just fantastic as this translator until Algren could learn how to speak Japanese, and he picks up quite quickly. Billy Connolly is in this movie, who is, again, in a couple of my other favorite movies, but we'll get to that in a couple weeks because he's in my third and second favorite movies. So we'll talk about that. And his character is just fantastic, of Zebulon Grant, who was a officer with, who's that guy? Custer. And oh my God, there was just a great exchange. I didn't even talk about this between Algren and Katsumoto during one of their earlier conversations, and they're talking about Custer. You were how does he put that? Algren says something about General Custer, and Katsumoto goes, "I know that name." And they talk about how he sent a battalion of 200 men against a couple thousand angry Indians. And Katsumoto goes, "I like this General Custer. We give it death just like him, if that is my wish," or something like that. I don't know. I have to watch the movie again because I love this movie. But yeah, and Tony Goldwyn as the bad guy in this movie. Now, I kind of love it and kind of hate this because the character's name is Colonel Bagley. That's my last name. It is not a name you hear often in Hollywood media. Like, the only time I ever heard it was like Ross Bagley, who played Nicky on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And it's a name you don't commonly hear in movies. So it's like, Colonel Bagley. Oh, he's an asshole. Oh no. Oh no. I don't want to be proud of this. So it's like in the first few minutes of the movie when Omura comes to Bagley and Algren and talks to them about training Japanese soldiers. Algren walks off to go to the bathroom, and Bagley goes after him. Omura goes, "Colonel Bagley." That's my name. But Tony Goldwyn puts in a fantastic performance as this colonel who just doesn't see the wrong in what he has done and just doesn't care, and which has led to resentment on Algren's part. And he even says at the beginning of the movie, for $500, I'll kill anybody you want me to kill. Just remember, I'd happily kill you for free. And, well, no. I want you to watch the movie to see what happens next. And then you have this great relationship between Algren and Taka, Katsumoto's sister. You see this relationship build up. That's one thing that I will give the movie that I absolutely loved. They never had like a romantic scene between Taka and Algren. I thought that would have brought the movie down for me, and they didn't go that route, which I'm so thankful and so happy for. It was just the way it was built up was so well done, and she is so beautiful too. The woman who played Taka, I don't remember her name, but oh, so beautiful. And just, I love the interaction between Algren and her family, like especially with her oldest son. It was just this beautiful, beautiful moment between the two of them, and just so well done. My hat's off to everyone who was a part of that movie. It was just, I can't rave about this movie enough. This is why it is in my top 10, and it will stay in my top 10 for quite a while. The Last Samurai is a fantastic movie that you should definitely check out. If you've not seen it yet, you should go out of your way to watch it. It is excellent, and that is why it is number 10 on my all-time favorite movies. But what did you think of The Last Samurai if you've seen it? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd really love to read. While you're down there, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. In the description down below, you're going to see a link to all of my social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, my Redbubble store, where you can pick up all your Irish Bandit merchandise: stickers, t-shirts, leggings, coffee mugs, coffee cups, travel mugs, hats. We now have hats. I still need to get a hat. Masks, key masks? No, key. What am I trying to say? Mouse pads. That's what I'm trying to say. You can get it all at the Irish Bandit shop on Redbubble. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, tap the bell and you'll be notified whenever a new video goes live. New video coming this Thursday. I'm talking about my 9th all-time favorite movie. Like I said, I gave you The Last Samurai for free, but you're going to have to tune in to see what the other movies on my list are. So join me Thursday for that. And it's not the man underneath, it's the mask. No, wait, I messed that up. Anyway, join me Thursday and I'll see if I'll get it right that time. Until then, talk to you later.